Good morning, guys. I hope everybody's staying nice and warm. I want to be honest with you. It doesn't sound like me this morning. I'm still trying to get over whatever I was had last week that I was losing my voice on. But hopefully you can understand me today, and we can get through this lesson, and you'll do well on the quiz at the end. So our lesson for today is about special quotients. How does the inverse relationship of multiplication and division show why certain division calculations involving 1 make sense? Now remember, when we ended our lessons on Friday, we were talking about how multiplication and division are inverse of one another, that one undoes the other. When we multiply, we can undo that multiplication through division. When we divide, we can undo that by multiplying. And we saw how those relationships were starting to work last week. So hopefully we can continue that on today. As always, I like to start out the lesson with our lesson objective. And our lesson objective today is I will use multiplication facts, 0 and 1, to learn about special division rules with 0 and 1. Now, I want you to think about taking notes through this video so that you can have some assistance when you take your quiz. I would also suggest that you pause the video whenever I ask you to pause it. Try them on your own just to see what you already know. I like to challenge myself that way, so go ahead and pause the video each time, and then again use those notes to help you on your quiz. The purpose of this lesson is, in the last lesson you learned that multiplication and division are related operations, which we already just talked about. Today you're going to use multiplication facts to understand some special division rules. Think of a situation where you might need to share 4 objects equally among 4 friends. You have learned that in math, sharing equally is one meaning of division. We're going to share it equally, putting it into equal groups. You're going to try this problem on your own. I want you to pause the video, try it on your own first, see what you can come up with. Think about what kind of number sentence you could use to represent this problem. Remember, number sentences have numbers and an operation sign. So since we're talking about division, you kind of already have an idea of what operation sign you're going to need here. So go ahead and pause your video and try it on your own. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. If you have 4 people and you're sharing the bill, you're going to divide it into 4 groups. So each person's going to have, if you have a $4 bill and you're dividing that into by 4 people, you're going to pay $1 each. So each student gets 1 book in this problem. What number sentence shows how many books each student gets? So as you can see, you would use four divided by 4 equals 1. What if there are 4 books and only 1 person? Draw a picture to show how many books 1 person would get. What number sentence could you use to represent this? So I'm going to give you a few seconds to think about it. You could demonstrate that problem by 4 divided by 1. If there's 4 groups or 4 books and you're only 1 person's going to share them, then that person's going to get 4 books. What 2 multiplication sentences are related to these 2 division sentences? Now remember, when we were doing this in class last week, we were talking about how we could write division sentences that matched our multiplication problem. So in this particular case, we could write the multiplication sentences 4 times 1 equals 4, or 1 times 4 equals 4. So the related multiplication sentences would be 4 times 1 and 1 times 4. Remember that we could use the commutative property here. We have 4 times 1. All we did was change the order, 1 times 4, and we still get the same answer. So let's think about these questions. What is always the quotient when a number is divided by 1? I hope you said that it stays that same number. Because when we divide any number by 1, we get that number. If I had the number 5 and I was dividing it by 1, my answer is going to be 5. What is always the quotient when the number is divided by itself? Again, this is one of those cases where I hope you said 1, because when we divide 5 by 5, you're going to equal 1. There's only one group of 5 in that case. You can use the related multiplication facts to check these rules. So 4 divided by 1 is equal to 4 must be true because 4 times 1 equals 4. In the same way, 4 divided by 4 is equal to 1 must be true because 1 times 4 equals 4. So you're starting to see that relationship become more evident here in this particular lesson, since we started it last week and we didn't get to go on to this lesson since we were absent yesterday. So this is the lesson that's going to show you that relationship even more so. 1 divided by 4 is equal to 4. A student writes this number sentence to go with the fact family for the problem you just solved. Explain what error the student made and why. Now, I want you to think about this a minute. I want you to go ahead and pause your video so that you can think about this. We talked a little bit about it last week, and hopefully you remember what we discussed when we were looking at a division sentence that would work in these certain problems. So think about what is wrong with what this person wrote, what the student wrote. So go ahead and pause your video now. I hope that you said this student was trying to divide 1 into 4 groups. Now remember what we talked about. If we're dividing up a number that is smaller, the dividend is smaller than the divisor, which means the number that's being divided up is smaller than the one that is being divided into. You have to actually do some work with decimals here, and we're not working on decimals yet. So this person is trying to divide a number that's smaller than the divisor, and it makes it difficult because you're going to end up with a decimal number for this answer when that's not what it's looking for here. Okay, I want you to pause your video and I want you to try some problems on your own. Once you get your answers, then we're going to go over them and see how many you got right. So go ahead and pause your video now. Try those problems. I'm sure everybody done a fantastic job on this one. Now let's go and check ourselves just to see if we're correct. I hope that you wrote these down so that you can make any corrections and use them during your quiz. So the answer to the first one is 9 divided by 9 is equal to 1. We have the same number, so anytime that we're dividing the same number by itself, we're going to equal 1. 0 divided by 4, remember it's the same thing as multiplication. Anything that is multiplied by 4, or by 0, I'm sorry, and anything that's divided by 0 or with 0, the answer is going to be 0. On 3 through 5, we were using comparison signs. 7 divided by 7 is equal to 2 divided by 2. Remember that anytime that we divide a number by itself, we're going to equal 1, so both of these would be equal. 6 divided by 6 is equal to 1, and 0 divided by 4 is equal to 0. In this case, 1 is greater than 0, so we would use the greater than sign. 0 divided by 5 is 0. 3 divided by 1 is 3. So in this case, we would use the less than sign to get our answer. Let's take another look at our learning objective, just to be sure that we know what we were learning in this lesson, and then we're going to go and take a quiz. I will use multiplication facts 0 and 1 to learn about special division rules with 0 and 1. So hopefully this lesson has been helpful to you. I hope you have a great day. Try to stay dry and warm and safe. You're going to now complete the quiz on Nearpod in this lesson. Have a great day, guys. Hopefully see you tomorrow.